Today we're hitting bombs. Hey athletes, welcome back. Now if you haven't watched our first video yet on hitting instruction and the 7 steps, I want you to check out the link below. Go watch that first and then come back to us. That'll help you out a little bit here. If you've already seen it, I'd like to welcome back Emma, and we're going to start talking about a couple of drills that will help us even support the movements a little better and get us in the right direction. So we love using simple everyday household things to get us better. And this is a piece of metal PVC pipe. In a facility, it's great. It's not very portable, but in a facility, it's great because of the rigidity and it holds up well. You can use a piece of plastic PVC pipe with screw-on ends if you want and bring it with you, but this is an essential tool to you getting better. So we're gonna have Emma get in the batter's box here. Now, one of the key components to swinging is making sure that the hips go before the bat. The hips generate all the power and the speed, and the bat comes later with lag and whip and force, okay? So all we're doing is putting this piece of pipe at the back of Emma's foot, okay, with her in a normal position where her hands would be on a bat, okay? So you're gonna stay there with your player, and all you're gonna do is call out toe touch and then fire. And Emma's going to do just that. What the pipe does is it keeps the top half of the body back and allows the hips to go first. That gives the player the feeling of what it's like to have those hips fire first in the proper sequence of the swing. Ready, Emma? Toe touch, fire. Notice Emma looks restricted. That's because she is. This is about creating a feeling. This is about showing your ball player what it feels like to make sure that these hips go first, the bat lags and gets whipped and comes later. Let's do a couple reps. Toe touch, fire. Good. Now, if the PVC travels a little bit, that's okay. What we want to avoid here is that when the hips fire, is the PVC coming all the way forward. That actually ruins the concept of keeping the hands back. So make sure there's little movement up here. Toe touch, fire. You can also work with your player on where their weight positioning is here so that they actually have a good solid feeling of where the weight is in the swing before they swing. So you're reinforcing multiple techniques. Toe touch, fire. So once you get that down, you can add a little something to it. Go ahead and get some balls. And all you want to do is throw balls at your player while she's got this piece of pipe there so that she can actuate her hips in a timing mechanism towards the ball and gives her a live feel of toe touching and taking that back hip and firing it at the ball. It's a simple drill, but it develops muscle memory and helps your players figure out the right sequence in order to attack the ball. Next, we're going to incorporate a tee and start working on some of the technique that we learned in the 7 steps. I do want to touch on properly using a tee, however. I see a lot of players or parents putting a tee far too close or over the plate. If you're set up properly, you want to be in front of the plate, down the middle for a pitch. If you're working the outside of the plate, you can be a little closer in on a right-handed batter. And if you're working an inside pitch, you want to be a little farther out. So make sure you're positioned right, because remember, every rep counts, and we don't want to develop bad muscle memory. So what we're going to work on here with Emma is just a little 3-step drill that's really going to enforce a few different parts of the swing. So I'm going to have Emma toe touch. Then I'm going to have her fire and then make contact. Now that you've seen it, let's talk about what this is actually working on. All right, Emma. Toe touch. At this point, we can ask our player or use our coach or parent to check the angle of the bat. Make sure when we're at toe touch, we've got the proper angle and we've got knob to the catcher. If we're practicing wrong or if we're setting up wrong, we're going to end up wrong when it comes to hitting the ball. Now we can say hips or fire, and we're going to pay attention to the player's hips and make sure they fire first with the hands back. Hips. Now if you notice, Emma's hips went first, the hands stay back before the midsection, okay? And she has a nice angle being prepared to go into the swing plane and hitting the ball. And lastly, Emma's still focused on her point of contact and hit. Now, if you want to get fancy at this point, you can call extension and Emma can extend through the ball. So what that's done is it's worked on toe touch, 1, firing the hips first, 2, checking the bat angle, 3, point of contact, 4, and extension, 5. We'll do a couple of more, but how many times can you think of working a drill that worked 5 different things in one 10-second motion? Patience. Remember, it's not about volume, it's about productivity. Toe touch, hips, fire, extension. Toe touch, hips, fire, extension. Now, if you want to change it up for your player, and you should, everybody loves the waist tied down the middle fastball, but let's face it, those don't always come. We'll work on the inside pitch a little bit by moving the tee inside and forward. Toe touch, hips, fire, extension. Toe touch, hips, fire, extension. And lastly, we can move the ball to the outside corner, which a lot of players struggle with. Toe touch, hips, fire, extension. Toe touch, hips, fire, extension. A couple of the nuances that you really want to pay attention to. Emma, every time, had her head not only down at the point of contact of the ball, but after the bat hit the ball and the ball left, she was right at point of contact. She sees it through all the way. That way she's not pulling early. This simple drill here can help you get where you need to be, reinforcing the overall big picture and making you a better hitter. Okay, here's our next drill that's going to help isolate the hip movement and allow the player to really feel hip restriction so that when they don't have that restriction, they go right into really generating power through the hips, and that's open-faced hitting. So Emma's going to go ahead and turn her hips to face me, okay? We're going to have a ball on the tee, and Emma's really going to have to turn those hips in order to generate power swinging through the ball. Now this is an uncomfortable and restricted feeling, and that's the way it's supposed to be. There's very little separation, and it isolates just the hips. There's no toe touch. But what this does is it allows Emma to really use that back hip and force it through and concentrate on a follow through. Now, right after doing that drill, put your player in a regular position off the tee and let them swing full, and then ask them how they feel hitting a ball with loose hips. All right. Our second drill supports not only hip movement, but weight shift into hip movement. Okay, and that's a simple crossover drill. Emma's gonna start back from her batter's box position. She's gonna cross over her feet and get that front foot planted down, throw the hip at it with a little bit of momentum. It's not unlike pitchers when they do walk-up drills on the mound. This allows a hitter to get a really good feel of getting the front foot down and shifting the weight into the ball. And as your player gets more comfortable, they'll really get that foot down and they'll become a little more violent. So there it is. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is a few simple drills, put some work in, okay? Keep coming back and things do get better. Sometimes it seems monotonous, but I'll tell you, if you're putting in the quality repetitions, you will see a difference. It's not hard, but it is work, and it's a lot of fun. I want to thank Emma for stopping out again. It was a pleasure having her, and we'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this latest video from K2 Mentoring. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button, and of course, share it with your friends and teammates. Now, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our next great video. And again, thanks for training with us. Enjoy and keep working hard.